Good afternoon and welcome to this Head Talk with myself, Ruth Benny. And today we have two heads, two for the price of one. And we're talking to the heads of Invictus School, the secondary section. Now, Invictus is made in Singapore. The primary is open and fully functioning in Chai Wan. And we actually did speak to the principals of the Chai Wan primary campus several months ago. So we're delighted to have with us today the secondary founding principal and the vice principal. So allow me to welcome Mr. Lee Harvey.
Hi.
And hi Lee, how are you?
I'm good.
And Mr. Warne Lau, founding vice principal. Hi Warne. So thank you for joining us today, and for those of you watching, please do post any questions that you have for our principals in the comments below, and please like and share. So I was going to do like a few fast facts, and I think that Invictus School has created a bit of a buzz in the market and has established its primary school very successfully. And so I want to ask you about the secondary school. So perhaps, Lee, can I just ask you, the school is in, correct me if I'm wrong, it's in Chai Wan, not quite yet open, and will be offering the GCSE and A-level Cambridge curriculum. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's fully correct.
Okay, so I'm sure we'll get into some of the more of the details about that as we continue the discussion. Warne, may I start with yourself as the founding vice principal? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself in your career history and your role with the school?
Well, I've been in the local education scene for a total of 20 years. I worked in different school settings, from private college to some of the government subsidized school, local colleges, and to some of the colleges they have the open local curriculums as well as IB programs. And this year, it's been my privilege to join Invictus and to be part of the whole family. We're offering IGCSE and A-level programs.
Thank you, Warne. So this is an exciting project, I'm sure. Can you please explain a little bit more about your role within the school as the founding vice principal?
Well, I'm more on the pastoral side. My job is to make sure there's nothing, that stops us from going ahead. And just to make sure, Lee and I will be on the same page from time to time. We're dealing with administration, management. But as I said, my role would be more on the pastoral side. So I'll be working on student information, school values, school culture, making sure students are learning in harmony. They are actually given the opportunity to flourish, develop, participate, and achieve holistically. But I'm really, really, trying my very best to make sure students are actually enjoying themselves in school, right? Because a school which provides students with love and care, that is my ultimate goal in education.
And I think as a parent of two secondary school students, I would not disagree with that. And I'm sure perhaps we can discuss later on, some of the maybe policies that you might be in charge of in terms of pastoral care with secondary students. Thank you, Warne. Let's come to Lee, and just perhaps the same. Let's add you. Lee, could you just tell us, who you are, where do you come from, why are you here?
Okay, I come from the UK. I qualified in the UK. My degree is from the University of Wales. Some of you might recognise a Welsh twang to my accent. I was teaching in Wales for 12 years, 6 of them as a deputy head of a school in Wales. I also completed my master's at the University of Wales in critical and creative thinking. In 2012, I moved to Malaysia, where I became vice principal of a school in Malaysia and spent 3 very happy years in Malaysia. From there, I did about 18 months working in Thailand, going to a school that had been newly set up but didn't have a head of school. So I'd gone in and there were no policies in place, and went there and supported them and got them up and running, before then returning to another school in Malaysia, where I was head of the international school. And we had students ranging from 3 years of age up to 18 years of age, covering from kindergarten right up to A levels.
Okay, thank you. So, so a lot of your teaching experience has been in Asia.
Yes, I would say about just under half of it is in Asia. Yeah, Malaysia and Thailand initially. In 2019, I went back to the UK to carry out some research for my own book that I'm in the process of doing on classroom management across different age groups. So I was a year there doing that and doing a bit of consultation work. And then I was lucky enough then to be contacted by Invictus to be founding principal here in Hong Kong.
So it's interesting. I want to ask you about, your Asia experience. How do you view? How important is it that the teachers that you've hired to work in the school have diverse experiences, and particularly have a lot of local experience? Could you tell us a bit more about the teachers and their experience?
Yeah, of course. For me, an international school needs a combination of teachers. I often say it's very much looking at a wonderful, colourful picture. If you look at a picture in black and white, it can be quite boring sometimes. You need lots of different colours to get a good feeling and a good vibe and a good environment. So for me in school, it's particularly important that not just you have a good mixture of students, but you have a good mixture of staff as well. So we've got staff from the UK, different countries in the UK. Myself being Welsh, we have somebody from Scotland, somebody from Ireland. We've got somebody from South Africa, Eastern Europe, got some local Hong Kong teachers, and all that adds into an international flavour amongst the staff.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure we do recruitment as well, as you know. So let me ask you a little bit. You mentioned you have some UK experience and some teachers from the UK, and that's the curriculum that you're doing, which is IGCSEs and A levels. So tell us a bit about why. There are not too many schools using this curriculum in Hong Kong, but what is it about that program that you felt would work for Invictus in Hong Kong?
The program enables two ways of thinking. Very much the latest ideas behind education are for children to get a wide range of experience in different subjects, and develop a wide range of skills, which I'm all for. But also there are some students who prefer to focus their learning and their abilities are focused in one particular area. So using IGCSEs and A levels and giving students that kind of choice allows both to happen. For example, students can, if they wanted to do A levels, they could do an A level science, an A level art with an A level language, or they can focus and have maybe 3 A levels in science. So it does give that choice, which is what we're about at Invictus, is about student choice, and supporting them in the choices that they make.
Okay, interesting. So the students would take how many IGCSEs? And you're sorry, just to backtrack, you're opening with all of the grades, is that correct?
We're opening with all the grades apart from year 11 and year 13, because that is the examination years. Obviously, year 11 examination year for the IGCSE, and year 13, the examination for the A levels. So we are opening with all the grades apart from those two.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, the opportunities that they have with us is to take 8 IGCSEs, with the possibility of taking 9, and in the future, the possibility of upping it to 10. The reason why I say the possibility is because, for example, in mathematics, we're looking at putting in a fast track system where the students in their first year of IGCSEs will take IGCSE maths, and then in the second year, they can then take either AS level or AO level mathematics.
I understand. So 8 or 9 GCSEs and then A levels. I probably jumped the gun a little bit. We should go back to the beginning. And so the beginning of secondary school in Hong Kong is, well, it depends, right? So in your school, it would be year 7, akin to the UK system.
Yeah, so we're year 7, and the students there will follow the Cambridge lower secondary curriculum in readiness for the IGCSEs. It gives a good foundation. It gives them a good taster of all the different subjects. And then at the end of that, in year 9, they will sit for the Cambridge checkpoint.
Yes, let's... It was very interesting. You and I were having a quick conflab beforehand. I mean, standardized testing is quite controversial, but you were telling me, just take us through from entry and how are the children tested, and why are they tested throughout?
Okay. Standardized testing is controversial, but I think it's how you use the standardized tests that is the most important. So for us, whenever a student joins us, they take the GL assessment CAT 4. Now with that, both the parent gets a report and the school gets a report. The school's report, it will give us target grades for that student for during not just that year, but the end of that key stage. And we use that then to track students' progress to make sure they're staying up with their predicted grades. So as for that, it doesn't matter when a student comes into us, they have to take that assessment. It also helps us by showing where the student has strengths, where they have weaknesses. So it's more like a diagnostic test, if you like. And the same then goes for the Cambridge checkpoint in year 9. It does give a GPA, a gross point average, for English, maths, and science, and the various sciences within that. But it also gives a diagnostic of where strengths and weaknesses lie. And we can use that then to guide the students on selecting the IGCSEs that are suitable for them.
Yeah, thank you. I have so many questions. I don't really know where to start. Can you explain to the parents watching? I mean,
yeah.
Parents often do tell us, but when they look at a child's school report, it doesn't tell them very much. So from a parent's point of view, how do these standardized tests and these checkpoint tests also help the parents? I know you did explain that it gives prediction and all the rest of it. Maybe you've covered this. I'm not quite sure if there's anything to add on that.
Well, obviously with the reports, there's also comment-based. There's comments alongside reports. But for us as well, it's looking at the system that we have where parents can actually see progress being made. And it's very similar to the old leveling system that was used in the UK from levels 1 to 8, but we'll be using Invictus levels. So parents will be able to track progress on the reports so they can see how much improvement, because as we know, children don't improve at a steady angle. They might go up a little bit, they flatten off, they go up again. And one of my jobs is when children flatten off to see why that's happened, and to make sure that as a school we put things in place so they start to rise again. And parents need to be aware of that, and they need to see when that's happening. So using a simple number system and follow will help them. And also, along with our report, we also do attitude to learning a system as well, which Warne will be leading. And from that, looking at both those things, it will help us put support in place for the students and keep parents notified of what's going on.
Thank you. That's exactly the answer I was looking for. It's this progress. As long as parents, we understand that children have a different starting point, but as parents, we want to see that they're progressing wherever they start from. So thank you for helping me make sense of that. What I also want, that leads me to the idea that, children do start off at different levels. You might have children coming from a local school or from another international school, or they have 1 or 2 or 3 languages under their belt which are not English. So can you tell us a little bit about what sort of support that you'll be putting in place for, I suppose, English as an additional language would be rather a large group, but also any other needs?
Yeah, obviously, with the assessment that I'm saying, it does give us guidance on the language ability for the students, both in English and other subjects. For us, it's done on a case-by-case basis. I don't think that when children are learning a language, you can say, okay, everyone who's at this level, you all go and do that. Everyone who's at that level, you all go into that. So our policy is basically looking at students on an individual basis and seeing what best suits them as a learner. Now, that could be putting in additional support in the classroom. It could be withdrawing them from certain lessons with the parents' agreement and giving them extra English lessons. It could be through additional classes after school and supporting them that way. What we have to realise is that Cambridge curriculum is taught in English. It is based in English. The exams, apart from the language exams, obviously, are in English. So we need to make sure that we give all the possible support we can to the students to make sure they can access the curriculum.
Yeah, absolutely. So you will be accepting children with English as an additional language, children from local schools?
Yes, certainly. Yes. It goes back to what I was saying about the staff and the students. You need all different colours, all different abilities, all different skills to make a school. And for us, we will take students into our school, providing we know we can support them and we can help them and we can help them develop.
Yeah, understand. Which leads me to the question we had earlier also. If children have completed their primary education in a local school, then how are they going to be able to continue their Chinese language courses at your school?
We do have, there are 4 sessions of Mandarin for each year group timetabled. Within our timetable, and also obviously we have after school support that also goes in and develops language. I'll be honest with you, I don't think about our school just supporting Mandarin or just supporting Cantonese or just supporting English. I think about other languages within our school. We have French lessons going on at the moment. We have staff who can speak multiple languages. So for us, it's about developing languages across the whole.
Right. So you'll offer French and Spanish?
I haven't got a Spanish teacher at the moment, but if there is a call for Spanish, we will have one. We are looking at offering Korean. So it's part of the school's policy to give what the students want and what they request. I have been asked in the past regarding ECAs, for example, what ECAs will go on. And again, it's about discussing with the students what they would do for ECAs. And some of those ECAs will be languages, certainly. For example, but I don't want to be putting on ECAs where, like, I could teach a little bit of Welsh, I'll be honest, coming from Wales, teach a little bit. But there'd be no call for Welsh, quite possibly. So it would be pointless that working as an ECA. So it's about listening to the students and what they want. And the same goes for our language policy as well. Our language policy is if there's a need, we supply.
Yeah, understand. Latin is a very popular GCSE, certainly in UK schools. Is that on the agenda?
It will be on the agenda, but I will be honest with you, getting Latin teachers is quite difficult.
I'm sure.
They are very hard to come by. I won't share my experiences with you on Latin, but yeah, they are very difficult to come by, Latin teachers. But Latin is a basis for so many languages. So I can understand why there's still a call for it in certain areas. But again, like I say, it's very difficult, but I would never say no.
Okay, so that leads us into A-levels. And so what is the graduating qualification? Is only A-levels that you offer?
Well, obviously A-levels is our goal at the moment. That's what we're aiming for. I don't want, as a school, I don't want to diversify too much. Initially, I would like the school to get their A-level program sorted. And then once the school is fully established and the A-level program is fully set up, then we would look at other programs that we could possibly bring in.
And so what would you say? I mean, parents often think that, well, if my child graduates with A-levels, I'm not interested in sending them to the UK university. How does that work for parents who might be interested in having their children stay here in Hong Kong or go to Australia, US, Canada, wherever?
Yeah, A-levels, although the curriculum we teach is British, A-levels are accepted in most countries in the world as a qualification to get into universities across the world. In my previous school, for example, I've had students who have left me with their A-levels. They've gone to Harvard, they've gone to Cambridge, they've got a couple went into... trying to think of the university in Germany they went to. So they are accepted, across the world. Just because it is a UK qualification doesn't mean it can only be used in the UK.
Yeah, and I wanted to have you say that because we find the same. But parents somehow feel like their children are pigeonholed onto a certain track, and that's just not the case. But equally, interestingly, we don't have that many UK schools in Hong Kong, but the typical path for children in those UK schools is to actually migrate to the UK in year 9, or for girls maybe a bit earlier, or perhaps for year 12. I mean, how are you going to approach this idea?
The idea that students migrate. I think as the world, as technology improves, and apart from obviously the pandemic that we're going through at the moment, I think an international school's role, or a school that teaches the international curriculum, is to teach students and support students in learning wherever they are in the world. And it's about teaching them the skills that are needed across the world. And I don't think those skills change because you go to another country. So it's about making students become global citizens, if you like, and more than just thinking environmentally, which is what we think about when we talk about global citizens, but it's giving them the confidence and the skills to carry out that learning wherever they are.
Yeah, agree. Thank you. We're reaching the end, so I think we've covered off. We've talked about the program, the curriculum, the EAL program, the Chinese program. I just want to talk about fees and affordability, because your school is really quite different in that respect, and the fees are very, very affordable. In comparison to some of the other international schools. Now, I also should say that you're not an international school, you're a private school, so open to everybody. So can you just tell us, the fees are 120,000 per year, flat?
That's correct. That is a flat rate, whether you join us in year 7, whether you're in year 10, or year 12. It's a flat rate. It's 120,000. And obviously, because of school being delayed, anyone who wants to join us now, those strata for the rest of the year.
Okay, so it's very affordable, actually. And you're offering some financial aid on top of that as well.
I'll be honest with you. With that, there is a payment plan that our admissions has put in place, and anyone who needs any support regarding that, contact our admissions. They're very good and very helpful.
Okay, so we'll put lots of, we'll link to, there are school tours. The building is open for school tours. Is it next week?
It's open now. I myself carried out some tours on Monday. Our admissions staff, I won't mention her name because I'll embarrass Anna, has carried some out yesterday, and she is looking to carry out more the rest of this week. You're able to book online if you want a school tour.
We just posted the link below, so please, and we always say that we can talk about the school as a abstract theory, but until parents actually step foot on the campus and sort of feel it. Unfortunately, there aren't children on campus at the moment, but nevertheless, it's such an important step that parents need to take to actually visit the school.
The other thing, sorry, Ruth, the other thing that they could do as well is obviously my teachers at the moment are carrying out online lessons through Invictus Family. And by all means, parents can contact our admissions and maybe have a few trial lessons on our, sorry, lights went off there, and again, they can contact our admissions, and in that way, they could possibly have a few of our trial lessons that run online, which I know some schools are closed next week for half term. So the students could be able to join next week and have some trial lessons.
Excellent. Keep them busy, keep them off the Minecraft and whatever it is.
Yes, being a parent, I know what it's like.
So I just want to come to both of you. I want to bring Warne back in as well, and just ask you, why would parents choose to send their children to Invictus? What is some of the characteristics, or rather than the nuts and bolts of the program or the location or the fees or what have you, but really about the heart of the school? Maybe shall we ask Warne and give you a break, Lee?
Well, I have to be very honest with you. It's first of all, I think it's the tuition fee that it's very, very tempting to the local parents. It's while it's incredibly affordable, I think it's one of the major reasons that drives both the parents and the students to join us. Next, it's I think location-wise, we are actually located in a very, very lovely environment with lots of facilities nearby and a very, very natural scenery, and that the students can enjoy lots of outdoor activities as well. That's totally incomparable to you do exercise in the gyms and so on. All right, it's all natural.
But rather than obviously those are some of the selling points, if you like, that a school will write about on its website. But I'm thinking more about the culture, the philosophy. Can you summarize it in a few words or a few sentences?
Well, we do try our very best to develop the school in based on quite a few values, such as care and respect, because we strongly believe that if students, they really care about their friends, their peers, the teachers, the family, and that is the action to take when you love somebody. All right, and the next is respect. All right, because if you respect, as I mentioned, like we respect your teachers, your peers, there's another action to take, and the result would be love. So love and care, it's some of the major values we try to promote, and we try to nurture in school.
Okay, I like that. Anything to add, Lee?
Only from my point of view, it's for us, it's about being student focused and giving students choice, and supporting them in those choices that both they and the parents make. And it's about creating an environment where students aren't afraid to try things out. I think that's very important nowadays. We talked about testing earlier and how, sometimes standardized testing could be a bad thing. I think it's the environment that you create in a school, given that environment where children are able to challenge themselves, able to take risks in their learning, and not feel frightened. It's all about that caring nature and that development for students, allowing them to become young adults and develop further, and just to think. And I know that's quite a simple thing to say, but we talk about creative thinking and critical thinking. It's not to think for the students, it's to give them opportunities to think for themselves.
Yep, understand. And I think we'll leave it there. That wraps it up very, very nicely. So thank you for watching. If you're watching us live, thanks for tuning in. And if you're watching this on a record, the link will remain valid. Please go ahead, book a school tour and go meet Lee and Warne in person and take a walk around the school and decide if it might be right for your child. So thank you.
Sorry, can I just point out our open day on November the 7th?
Yeah, and we've put the link to the school tours, which hopefully includes November 7th, but I'm not sure if it's completely able to be. Now, just how do we apply for the trial classes? Thank you for your question. We'll also, your lights. It's not Halloween yet.
We're getting ready. We're always prepared in Invictus. All they need to do is to contact on the website, go to the Invictus Family School for our admissions, and they will be passed on to the link to try the lessons.
Okay, thank you, Hoi. And if you have any problems, then we can also connect you with Invictus admissions directly. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we wish you the very best for the opening of your new school, and we'll come visit you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Warne.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.